Hello, welcome to the PLC Curriculum Talk. I know you're anxious to get started with your plans for the first few days, and I wanted to review our new planning template in terms of looking at examples of what goes in the spaces. Looking at our chart, we have the 4 questions because that is the foundation of what we're doing. We're trying to determine what the students are expected to learn, how we will know they are learning, how we will respond when they don't learn, and how we will respond if the students already know it. Using 13A, which is relevant across the board, we have an example content objective. So based on the specific information from 13A, we have a concrete, precise, concise plan. We will determine topics, plan a draft, and develop a thesis. Our language objective comes from the ELS. So using 3E, an example objective may look like, I will share information in cooperative learning interactions. Also in the first column, we want to break our TEKS down into manageable chunks. We know that many of them are dense, such as 13A, so we pull apart the different parts and place them in the learning target spaces here. So for 13A, we have 3 learning targets. We have to determine appropriate topics, we need to plan a first draft, and we also need to develop a thesis or a controlling idea if we're writing in a narrative way. After we've broken down our TEKS and generated our specific learning targets, we move across the chart to the second section, which relates to PLC question 2. We want to have essential questions that our students will address to demonstrate their proficiency or mastery as it relates to a specific skill. So for learning target 1, if students are determining appropriate topics, an example essential question might be, how do writers determine what they will write about? Responding to the question will lead them to revisit how they determine appropriate topics. Similarly, with learning target 2, an essential question might be, which planning method should I use for writing various genres? So if students are considering writing persuasively, then they will have a list of planning options that might differ from writing in a narrative mode. Now we're ready to look at the student demonstration of mastery. Previously, we would have listed that information, what the students actually create, in our content objective. Now we place it in the column next to the related learning target. So if students are determining appropriate topics, they might categorize using a card sort and then generate appropriate topics and list them, group them, and label them. This way, they can demonstrate that they understand both which topics go with what genre, and they also show that they can generate a list of topics and put them in the appropriate category. Looking at learning target 2, we might have a student to demonstrate mastery with planning by creating an outline, an insider chart, or web, amongst other things. Now we're ready to take a look at PLC question 3. How will we respond when students don't learn the material? Taking a look at learning target 1, the teacher might pull a small group for intervention where he models and then allows the students to match topics to appropriate genres until they get it, before moving them back to the practice sorts, and then of course later on generating topics and categorizing them. What will we do with students who already know it? Sometimes we allow students who already know material to peer tutor, which is fine. But another example of what students could do for 13A, determining appropriate topics, students could get together in small groups to create anchor charts with banks of topics by genre. So they're actually tutoring students by creating a reference item for the classroom. Now I think you're ready to move to planning. In order to find materials that will help you with your planning chart, Again, the content objective, learning objective, and learning targets will come from the specific TEKS in your flip chart. A resource that you can use for product ideas is your actual standards clarification. When you're in SharePoint, you can access your curriculum by going to the appropriate folder. Once you click on the link, you see a folder entitled Curriculum Documents. Inside the folder, you have standards clarifications that you can access, but you can also go to your 6 weeks at a glance, where there are specific product ideas and activities listed. When you access your standards clarifications, you're able to click on the TEKS that you're working with and get more specific information should you need it. It takes you to the standard clarification. The standards clarification gives ideas for activities, question stems, assessments, and essential terms, amongst other things. When you're looking at extensions, you're also able to use your standards clarification for additional practice opportunities. Now you're ready to plan for the first couple weeks of school or the first couple days, depending on your stamina. Please note any questions you have for me, and when I come around to your room, I'll be able to assist in any way. Thank you, and good luck with your planning.